All right, bam. We're live. A little dark in here. All right, now we're live. The shared screen going. Welcome. All right. Hey, hey, Jay Allen, welcome. Just getting just getting started. Was making sure that the live was working because the screen was looked like it was frozen. So welcome. Yes, sir. Hey, before I get started, if you don't mind, I wanted to ask you a question. How many um how many phone calls do you think you get a week for people calling for your service? If you had to guess, do you track that kind of stuff? All right. Thank you for sharing. And then out of that, how many of them do you end up taking the job? Is it all of them? Half of them? You know what I'm asking you? How many of those do you almost all? Okay. And right now, are most of them coming to you because people are referring you? Is that how most of your business is? Is that why that rate is so high? Your close rate, let's call it. TikTok doesn't like tire kickers. let me let me let me approve that comment. All right. Yeah, crazy. Very cool. All right. No, that's awesome. Um, that's awesome. I'm happy. That's great. Like it's nice to have that phone ringing like that. So, there's a lot of guys that don't have that. So you're definitely whatever you're doing and how you're doing it is working. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's really good. So that's fantastic. All right. I'll run through this one briefly. It's an interesting concept. So some of them are just price shopping. I got you. Yeah, I could see in your line of work, especially for service calls. I could totally see how some people they don't know what they're buying and they think that homeowners get confused, right? They think a burger's a burger and they call around. They don't realize yeah, that you get what you pay for in the service industry. So makes sense. Okay. Same day service. Fair enough. Yeah, I could see that, especially if they have a leak or a toilet. They want you to have like another guy that you can just dispatch. Fair enough. I totally can see that. How often so let me ask you, um, do you have more people calling you for same day or more people looking for cheap? What do you or is it a couple of each? Yeah. Yeah, so that same day service, I had to use like I had an issue like that once. It was at night. Something I have a place that has it's a dual unit. I have a tenant that lives on the second floor and one on the first. Anyway, there's a washer and dryer on the second floor, and that vent, the drain pipe, it branches off on the first floor and goes to a kitchen sink. And anyway, the vent pipe must have been clogged, and so all of a sudden, when the upstairs unit was running the washer and dryer, or the washer rather, and it was discharging, water was backing up into the first floor's kitchen sink. I don't know. Anyway, they snaked it. They said there was a little bit of like pasta in the line, but they also said the plumber that came out and made the repair, he said that the vent pipe was clogged, like a bird's nest was up in on the roof of the vent pipe. And he felt like, I don't believe me, you may say this is all hogwash, but I have had to have I've only had to have that once where we needed somebody to come out like that night. He came out like at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. It was expensive. I will say that. So I think a lot of people want same day service. And then when they find out how much that could cost them, they quickly go, I think I could wait till tomorrow. So I'd be curious, you know. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, because it's costly to get a guy to come out. All right. Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. All right. So today, this you might find this interesting. You may already know this, Jam. Um, over the years, I learned that homeowners, as much as I like to think that they are looking for the contractor who does the best plumbing, does the best miter cuts, installs the best molding, that's not necessarily what it is. They want someone who has good skills. But if you look around, and you probably see this when you walk into the average house, the level of construction, the finish, the details, it's not always that great. And I don't care. Uh, I don't get into a lot of like $15 million plus mansions. That's not my market. So I could be, if you deal with celebrities, you may have a different experience. But for me, the average homeowner in America, up to like a couple $1 million house, a lot of times I'm surprisingly disappointed at the quality of the construction, even though these are what I would call high marketed as luxury or higher end homes. So I say all that to say that I've learned over the years that really what drives a lot of homeowner decisions is fear. They are scared to death of how other people will judge them if they make a mistake more than they're concerned about hiring the best. And it presents a pretty interesting dynamic when you start looking at trying to grow your business and market it. When you start realizing that that's what a homeowner's fear is. Most people are more afraid of looking stupid and making a mistake than they are of doing something good. It's the craziest thing. Most people are insecure, is what you start learning about homeowners, and especially when they dive into the remodeling world. Especially for guys, guys that can't. How many times has the homeowner said, I would have gotten up there and done that, but my back, or some other BS story, right? And, and it's the same story all the time. The guy is feels like intimidated, less of a man because he can't fix his own house. So then the fact that another man, is coming in to fix their house, then they have to come up with some story about how they would have done it, they could have done it, they should have done it, but they're not. And that's why you're there. Right. And anyway, that's always their issue, not mine. But when you start understanding that, it helps you in the way you present your offer to them to have them hire you. All right, so let's get into this. So this is what I mean by homeowners watch everything, is that the fear for the homeowner of making the right choice is they crave that more than the right one. And just bear with me, you'll see what I mean. A lot of times the homeowner will say we're shopping for a contractor. We want the best price, right? But what they're not saying is, well, we don't want to look stupid to our spouse, our parents, our neighbors. We don't want everyone saying they were a bunch of jerks and idiots. Look who they hired. Those guys don't know what they're doing. They're afraid that they're going to get ripped off. They're afraid that they're going to be waste money and do the wrong thing. And they're also afraid that they're going to hire someone who's just going to flat out ghost, disappear, not finish the job. These are like real concrete fears of the average homeowner. Okay. And even once you've already sold the job, they still have that fear and anxiety for a little while. It takes a lot to help them overcome because that's the fear that you understand. People live up here a lot of times. Um, and so they're always watching. And it's kind of like, Jay Allen, you are not this type of person. You participate in the group. Um, you've come to the lives, you'll communicate, you'll ask questions, you'll share. So understand that you're not that type of person at all. But you've probably watched, look how many people will come into a group like this, or how many people get invited. Like you took the invitation and showed up to that other call where I invited you. Yeah, that's my Jay, that's my problem for sure. I just need to shut up. Um, But yeah, but hear me, like this is a compliment to you. You're an action taker, right? And it's no wonder that your business is succeeding. And I'm not taking anything away from you. I'm saying like your drive, the way that you do things, that is exactly why you succeed. And yet it is exactly why 90% of the remodelers that we come across who pop in for a minute and pop out, they'll show up one night, you never see them again. It's why they fail, right? Because they they don't do the simple things. They have these fears. They don't want to admit that they could use some guidance. They don't recognize how much they could learn. All of these things, and it's that fear of being judged, right? They want to act like they know how to do it. I have literally watched grown men. I have had a conversation like, "Hey, here's some things that we could do to assist your business so that you don't go out of business." And their pride gets so in the way that in 6 months they go bankrupt and out of business because they refused to do any of the suggestions or take any of the offers of help. And I get that. A lot of men have this pride issue where they are going to fucking fail on their own before they will ever ask for or allow anyone's help. And I don't know why some men go about that. It's been tough. I've watched people commit suicide because their business failed to the extent where all of a sudden they couldn't hide it anymore, and everybody was going to find out that they were bankrupt, broke, and their all their possessions were about to be repossessed through foreclosures, and they've left their families. Like they just, boom, they're dead, done, and everybody else is left to clean up the mess. And most people were like, he acted like everything was fine. So it's a very interesting dynamic. And I didn't know this. This is one thing that does happen with age. You get to watch this. And unfortunately, I've had more friends than I would like to admit, more people that I know that have had that happen in their life. And they've literally, they've taken their own life because things got so bad for the business. And yet they had many opportunities to take help or to make a change, and they refused to do it. I don't understand it. I just know that that's a reality of the world. So I share that because a lot of homeowners have that similar anxiety where their pride has to be up there. So anyway, you selling your service, if you negotiate that properly, you'll be able to get a lot of these clients because you understand that they're just afraid of being found out and they're afraid of making a mistake. So if you can make them look good, right? And you can prep them up, and the homeowner feel like, if the man feels really good about you doing the work as opposed to feeling intimidated by you, they'll hire you, and they'll hire you over and over and over. But if they feel intimidated by you and you make them feel, for whatever reason, you might even, sometimes you don't even know you're doing it, just could be subconsciously, they'll be like, nah, that guy's a jerk. We're not hiring him. So anyway, it's a real interesting dynamic. All right. So here's where I'm going with all that. I'm landing the plane now. So a lot of times we want to show the homeowners what our mid-project process looks like. The homeowner doesn't always care about the end result. A lot of homeowners just want to see that you're committed and they want to see you doing work. Yes, be humble. It's a very good approach in this business. And Jayon, you might have this happen. I have this happen to me all the time. The wife, the spouse reaches out, calls me out to come look at something. The husband's there. And immediately the husband comes out and starts going, yeah, well, I was going to do all this. And I hurt my back and, I can't do it. Or, I got all this work and I got the kids and the kids soccer. There's just never enough time. So, you know, and the reality is they don't own a tool. They don't know what to do. They couldn't fix it even if they were fired from their job tomorrow and we healed their back miraculously. Like if Jesus came and said, you're healed, they're not going to be able to do the job. But that's the story that they have to tell me so that they feel good. So I allow the story and I embrace. I say, hey, no problem. You know what I mean? You just go with it. But I say all that because when you can show homeowners that you're easy to work with and you show up consistently and even mid project, they feel safer around you. So, a lot of times, if you're going to do some posts to drum up business on social media, it shouldn't always just be the after photos. You want to show the homeowner just like the normal things that you do. Hey, like we're driving to the job today. We got a call yesterday. Mrs. Smith's having a problem. This is what we do. We have a service where we can get out and make the repairs. They just like seeing you do the mundane stuff to trust that you can fulfill for them. So hopefully that makes sense. And this is where like they talk about social proof and just sometimes it's the simplest things that sell. They don't need to see that you worked on some big ass celebrity's house. That helps, but at the end of the day they need to know that you can do the little things. So we call it a safe framework, right? And it's how you communicate to the homeowner. So the best part of all this just plays out to a homeowner's general psychology. I'm telling you, this is how people's brains are wired. I spent a lot of time studying this stuff to understand so I can relate better with people. At the end of the day, you'll be the most successful when you can remove fear from making a purchasing decision from the homeowner about hiring a company to do the remodeling service, the repair to their house. So I use the word safe because first, you have to show them real progress that your company delivers. You have to be able to affirm, that's the A, that you're a trustworthy business. Your word is what you are and what you do, right? Simple stuff. The F stands for feature happy clients real time. If you happen to be on a job site and the homeowner's there and they're really excited, see if you can get a little video where you're like, hey, Mrs. Smith, wave hi. I'm letting other people know that we're out here repairing your thing today. And when other homeowners see that the homeowner you're currently working for is happy, I'm telling you, all of a sudden you become 10 times more likable. It's one downside to in my world right now when I work remotely, I don't get to like put my arm or the guy I'm working with high five him and say, hey, tell everyone how great the service is because we're remote. But when you're next to somebody, if you can get that social proof works really well. All right. And then E is you're always want. Hey, if you're sharing the brisket or the homeowner, you know what I'm saying? It can all work out. But yeah. So a couple photos do help. And then the final letter in the word safe is E. You always want to be cognizant of the homeowner's future outcome, which is a completed project, no more worries. The house has been repaired. You've successfully completed the surgery and they have their life back together. That's what homeowners want. So your message, you want to have that in there. And again, Sometimes if you just take a couple photos, have your helper maybe take a picture or two of the helper if you don't want to be on camera. Have the helper take a picture or two of you. The mundane stuff. Hey, I'm getting some supplies at the supply house. It's 6:30 a.m. or it's 8:30, whatever. Hey, we're running. We just showed up at our first call for the day. You know, a couple little posts like that every now and then go a long way in within the business. Homeowners like to see that you're just a regular person. And believe it or not, Jan, if you love something like brisket, the homeowners like to see the other side. That's an area that I struggle in personally. I don't I have not really been good about, when I'm with friends and family, I typically don't have my phone. I try to leave it. I'm on this thing so often, but at times it would be helpful if I could capture some of them, like, so people could get to know me a little bit better. That would make a difference, and I acknowledge that. And for 2026, that's one of the things I plan to show more of. But anyway, within your business, people kind of do want to get to know you as a person a little bit or your company. So, share the brisket. All right. Otherwise, I mean, that's the concept. I think everybody, I think you get it and it makes sense. If you do this consistently, you'll notice that you do attract more people. It gets much easier to build a consistent flow. I'm not doing a good job of acknowledging people on the live. My apologies to you guys. Um, and you generate buzz for your company. So, what else? Jay, on one other thing, if you want to use the AI to help with this, you let it know that you want it to act as a content strategist, right? So it's going to be like your social media employee, and you want to create what I call the repeatable mid-project content system that helps show some social proof that you just do regular work like anybody else for regular people, regular projects, regular homes. Um, and you use the SAFE framework, which is show real progress, affirm trustworthiness, feature the client, echo the future outcomes. And you try to do 2 posts for each letter, okay? And maybe so anyway, you can put all that into an AI agent and it'll give you a schedule and it'll show you how you can do that. You can explain the type of jobs that you normally go on and it'll give you some samples to say, "Hey, this would be a really good thing. Take a picture of this. Showcase that." Um, you can have it give you a caption and a tip on how to involve your team. And at the end, have it make you a weekly checklist that you can print, and you can actually make it part of your jobs, right? It's a standard operating procedure for each job. And for now on, every job, we're going to take a picture as we pull up. We're going to take a picture as we're unloading. We're going to take a picture as we're making a repair. And we're going to try to get a picture of us and the homeowner. There's this guy, he's called Santo, and he doesn't do contracting. Yes. No, that's yeah, thank you, John. Yeah, this is absolutely right. Your business is really about that little connection that you have with the homeowner. Um, and here's what's interesting. There's this company, they're down in Florida. It's called Santo. They literally they just tow vehicles off of the beach that people get stuck. So many people don't understand how four-wheel drive on the beach works, how you have to air down the tires, and all these things, or that you even need four-wheel drive, whatever. So, but what this guy does is he starts his video with him saying, "We got a call," and they're driving to the beach, and then they show the vehicle that's stuck, and then he records a little bit of the interaction between him and the person. Hey, would you like, we could pull you out. Yeah, this is no big deal. Is your four-wheel drive not engaged? Have you aired down your tires? Ask him a question or two, all the normal thing. And then he shows him hooking up, and then boom, he gets the guy unstuck. And then they always go over and like they high five or they shake hands. And he says, "Hey, would you mind if I posted this?" And the people are like, "No, great, perfect." And there's his little video, right? of him showing you that he just the way it works. It would and so what I'm getting at is as you in your service, if you just show the little journey with a couple little clips, it goes a long way. That's all I'm saying. So that is my rant for tonight. Thank you for listening. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, you're welcome. It's I tell you, it's not hard. And believe me, it's what is challenging is just finding the hours to do all these things, especially when when we're slow, when we're smaller teams. Well, Jayon, here's what I would say to you. You're you're closer probably to my age as opposed to some of the young kids, and follow me for this. We didn't grow up with social media as a way to get business, right? Like you didn't need to do it 20 years ago. I will tell you this. The companies that have a social media account are crushing it, and their business becomes so much easier, and you'd be shocked. There are people that they have really no talent, really hardly any experience, but because they have someone, either them, a family member, they hire a neighbor's kid who's 15 who wants to be an Instagram star at some point in life, because that's a thing now. People like you have to understand kids today, when they look at their profession, they go, I want to be a content creator. I want to be a YouTube star. I want to make videos. And if you can create that avenue for your business, you will be shocked at how fast your business grows. But remember this, you want the content to be about the customer, not just about, don't just show the finished bathroom all the time. Show the experience that you're having with the silly stuff, like you and the guy that works with you, like getting the material, stopping for lunch, you know, working under a crawl space one day, just, and but also interacting with the homeowner. So people like to see the human side of your business in the story. Hi, all right, who's in here? Denny, welcome to the challenge. Denny, when you're asking about software, I need a little more context. You have to help me understand what software are you asking about. But to go back to you, Jayon, you don't have to do anything, right? I I've been doing this for over 10 years, and I resisted doing social media for 8 of them. I just had no interest. I like to be behind the scenes. But it was really hurting my business. I was having to work a whole lot harder because I didn't understand how to do a good social media campaign. So, and let me, Danny, I'll address you in just a second. So where I go with this, Jay Allen, if if you can do a little bit of social media, not a lot, you don't have to be a superstar, but if you can just put a little bit out there, it really goes a long way, because the first thing the homeowners like to do is they like to go online and find out what your company's all about. And there's no better way than just to show them what you do on a daily basis. And then that way they feel comfortable and they feel like they already know you before they've ever hired you. And what it does is it will always align you with the right people, because they've gotten to see who you are, because they see your personality, and the ones that like you call you. And that's what you want at the end of the day. What you I have to be careful about this story, but I'll share it in a few minutes. I struggled in the beginning because I attracted a demographic that didn't want to hire me, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So Denny, we have our own. I can help you get set up with a software. It's CRM. If you're in one of our programs, when it comes, there's tons of them out there. There's free ones. It's hard to recommend other than help me understand your business. Are you a full service remodeler? Are you a subcontractor? Help me understand your business a little more. So CRMs, there's 1,000 of them. I would, if you're brand new in business, I would just get something free. You can use something called Zoho. That's something that I started out with. It's very easy. When it comes to estimating software, years ago, I got started with a company called Home Tech, and that turned into Clear Estimates. But with full disclosure, Danny, I would tell you that I started moving over and doing all my estimates on a like a Google Doc, Google Sheet, Excel, Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. I will say this: behind the scenes, right now, we're working on an AI estimating avenue for it. We're starting with kitchen remodelers, where you can just talk your instead of having to type everything into a spreadsheet, you'll be able to talk it through. So, but I would look at stuff like that. There's tons of these out there. It really comes down to your specialty and your niche, Denny. Okay. I hope that I know that's a broad answer, but see, everybody's mind works differently. And that's why there's so many different software applications out there. And that's why if you get 10 contractors in a room and you ask them, all 10 will use a different way. Yeah. LMN. Yeah. So here's what I would say. Get something today like you have. You're going to use it. Hey, Mr. Goat, welcome. Justin, the other Justin's here. You'll try it for a little bit, and then as you'll get to know other contractors that do similar business to you, you know, and you'll figure out if you might need to switch or move to something different. A lot of if you do full service remodeling, uh, an Excel or Google Doc, Google Sheet rather, that spreadsheet will be the best for getting you your most accurate number. But what it doesn't help you doing is getting a detailed scope of work. So sometimes that's where I find that the estimating softwares that I've tried online, many of them don't help me get an accurate number, but what they do help me get is a nice detailed scope of work. So sometimes I will use a program just to get the scope of work. Welcome, Charlotte. Who's from Cuds Killhaz? Hello from Charlotte. Welcome, brother. And Denny, help me understand what's your specialty. Like, what kind of work do you do? Yep. Yeah, I think I've had people have had different experiences with Jobber. Justin, thanks for sharing that. House Call Pro. Yep, that's another one that's not bad to get started with. Um, if you're oh, cool, outdoor living spaces, awesome. Okay, yes, Justin. House Call Pro. All right, so we got two of you guys that like House Call Pro. Awesome. Um, yeah. I Denny, how long have you did you tell me how long you've been doing the business, Denny? Let me see. Denny, how long have you been doing outdoor living? How long have you been in the business? Um, so one thing so something like outdoor living spaces, what I think you'll find is a lot of your stuff comes down to square footage, and then a lot of it comes down to hours, days. right? And rentals. Like if you're having to rent a skid steer or you own a skid steer, then it's the number of hours or days that that skid steer is going to be on site. Um, if you're subbing out, who's doing your hardscape, right? Like you're usually a sub is usually charging you per square footage. So that's where it gets complicated to use some of these estimating softwares, and that's where I find for coming up with my actual dollar amount. That's why I like using like the Google Sheet, because I can make a tablet and I can run the job down from permits. Are we doing permits? Yes or no? What's that going to cost? How much is the permit? How much time is it going to take me to get the permit? How much am I charging to do the permit? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The AI. So I can share this from behind the scenes with you guys. I've for months I have a couple developers that we're working together, and we have been working on building an AI platform that does a lot of things. That's what got me into this AI challenge. I did 54 days and then now 78. So uh, I've really have dove headfirst into understanding AI. Yes, you have to put the work in 100%, Jay. A lot of guys are looking for a crutch. Here's this. I might have shared this once before. Here's what really is happening right now in society. Everybody wants the trick, but nobody understands the foundation, and they don't know when you use the trick. They just know the tricks. And the problem is the only time the trick works is when you already understand the foundation. If you just run around and try all these tricks, you're going to screw everything up. And that's what's happening right now with a lot of guys using AI. I do use this one estimator. Yeah, you're doing a lot of the right things, Dan. At the end of the day, you have to take your crew, whether that's direct employees or your subs, and come up with their direct labor cost. How many days or hours or what are they charging you per square foot? And then you have to come up with your material cost. And then you have to look at all the ancillary stuff, the project management, the ordering, all the time, the structure, what it takes to get the job going, getting the permits, getting a dumpster there, dump fees if you're hauling debris, right? Set up, breakdown time, mobilizing equipment if you have to bring skid steers and excavators on site. Um, Waiting for inspectors. Somebody has to we always have somebody on site to meet the inspector. We have a much higher success rate of passing when we do that. So some companies don't, but that has to be budgeted for and allocated. Yes, and you have so on the back end, if look, this is just my opinion. There are a lot of guys that work for a wage, and that's what they do. They say, "Hey, if I can just make 50 or 75 bucks an hour, I'm happy." I would strongly encourage you to charge a higher rate, because the risk that you're taking on by getting into these jobs and being if you're the general contractor, or like Jay Allen, and you're the licensed plumber, if you're on site and there's a flood because of work that you did, they're going to come after you and your insurance. And so you're taking, just because you're going out there to make like 2,000 bucks one day, it could cost you 200, $1 million on the back end, because there could have been a problem. And so you're taking on a huge risk. And I say that to say that that's why, in my opinion, you should charge an appropriate amount of money for taking on the risk and all the headache of being the owner and controlling and planning and organizing all the crap. Yeah. Yeah, and Justin, please, I'm not telling Jay Allen he needs to raise his rate. Yeah, yeah, he's good. He's good. But what I am saying is, like, I'm trying to emphasize the importance that uh, any licensed contractor, if you're a GC or you're licensed in a specific trade, we often don't understand, I don't think, the risk that if this happens a lot, like if you're staining hardwood floors and your guy doesn't understand that turpentine is combustible, and he throws a pile of rags in the corner of the garage when the job site's done, some guy that you're paying like 20 bucks an hour as your helper, and it's late and he's tired and he just throws the rags into a corner and they combust at night and burns the whole fucking house down. You like the lawsuit that could be coming your way, and you were just charging like $3,000 to refinish the hardwood floors. But like, what if somebody dies? What if the whole house burned? What if the neighbor, three houses burned down? Like, this is what happens in contracting. Like, at some point, you'll have some sort of an issue. So you should be charging a proper amount to prepare yourself and for taking on the risk. That's what I'm trying to just share. um, there's only two instances that it's kind of like owning a motorcycle. There's the the motorcycle guys that haven't had an accident yet, right? And there's the guys that have. It's not that you'll never have an accident. If you ride a motorcycle, you are going to have an accident at some point. That's just the reality of the world. Same in contracting. If you run a remodeling business, there is going to be something that goes wrong at some point that's probably possibly part of your control, possibly out of your control. So, let's see. I say that because yeah, yes, in your so yeah, so you guys exactly. You want to be competitive, but you want to be compensated for taking on the risk. So, yeah, I kind of that's all. I want to make sure you guys protect yourself. So, try not to work for a wage. So, all that to say, land the plane, Mike, is that you need to be marking up and charging overhead and profit, and just 20% isn't going to cover it. Um, the remodeling business trades, when you own a vehicle that you're putting in service and you are driving it physically to somebody's house, that changes the dynamic. If you own a little woodworking shop and all the homeowners come to you and they pick up your little crafts, you can operate on a much lower margin. The minute you're in a vehicle and you're driving around town, you have to raise your margins. Yes, exactly. You know, Jayon, you and Justin and Denny, I'm sure you guys can all understand and appreciate this. For the amount of hats that you wear and the amount of hours that you work and all the things that you put yourself through, sometimes you're like, I might be better off. You know, it's sometimes it's nice just working for somebody else. Yeah. 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 Buy in bulk. Never. Exactly. Yeah. So that's your incentive, Mr. Goat, to make sure you're always charging enough money. That's all. Because you can't make it up. If you I can do an exercise with you where I'll show you if you discount one job and then I'll show you how much you have to charge on future jobs to make up for what you discounted. You'll just doing that exercise shows most guys why they should never discount a job again. You never make it back up. It's lost. If you're going to discount, then just write it off as a charity because you're never going to make that money back up. You have to charge an astronomically high price in the future to make up for every job that you discount. The math will not math. Yeah. Well, and Mr. Goat, there's one thing about giving a discount, but there's also the marketing side where the rate is already high to allow for that discount, right? Like a lot of companies are already have a profit margin established there, and so you already have the price here. And then yes, for veterans, for whoever you pick, you come down, but at the end of the day, you still have your margin built in. They're just paying less profit and margin to you. Anyway, that's my suggestion. Otherwise, you should just flat out you should do a habitat build of your own where you like do a job and you just give it to free. Instead of what I'm trying to say is instead of offering big discounts, sometimes you're just better off writing the whole job off and literally do it as a charity event. And then you can use that for some publicity within the company and some goodwill in the community. But what I see too many guys doing is they're running a charity, and they're at the end of the year they don't recognize it till they get their taxes back. Very cool. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with getting a little bit of acknowledgement that you're doing that, right? Letting they say, hey, we give back to, like, part of our business motto, part of our business values, we give back to the community. For several years, I did things like there was an organization in my area that helped high school kids, and I built decks and would donate the labor and the materials for some of these families. So like, um, but what I'm saying is I didn't run around and say, well, I'll give them to it at a really cheap price. No, it was that was a mission of the company. We were going to donate that. Whereas when we work for a customer, we earn a profit. I feel like your business will be more successful if you clearly delineate what you're doing and how you're doing it, as opposed to haphazardly discounting jobs here and there. Yeah. And there's, some people do charity work and never mention it, and that's fine. Everyone has their prerogative. But there's also nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with letting people know that part of, like, Mission Barbecue. I mean, there's companies that literally uh, they are built on the fact that they give and work and give a percentage of their profit here or do something like, they make donations. So you guys, you get it. Mm. Um, all good stuff. But yeah. So, hey, Mr. Goat, I want to acknowledge I'm seeing your posts about the lights and stuff. Congratulations. Good job on putting stuff out there on your Facebook. That's awesome. Yeah, brother. No, that's good that you're busy. Now I see you, like I said, yeah. Yeah. Look, that's what the game is all about. Like, you won't know what's going to work until you dip your foot in, and try this, try some of that, and get a little bit of consistency going. It's all the little things will add up over time. So, good job, man. It's all part of that hustle. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It really is like, I'm not saying that everybody signs up for this when they sign up to be a business owner or start their own business. Yeah, brother. Yeah, absolutely. However I can help you out. You just let me know what would work for you. What are you looking for in exchange? Like, is there how yeah. Yeah, you absolutely. You can send me something, send me your proposal, your idea of what you want, what you're hoping I could do to help you with it. Sure. The the comfort zone thing, Jay Allen, that's a good point. This is this has just been my experience. My first year in business just exposed me to all the things that I didn't know about running a business and all the areas that I personally had to grow in. And it was a lot. It was overwhelming, right? Like, I really was not well equipped to be a business owner. There were a lot of internal areas. I won't use the word flaw. I will say opportunities for uh, please, yes, definitely go send that to me. There were a lot of areas that I had to be honest and say, Mike, this is where you're at. You have aspirations, you have dreams and desires of being here. It's not everyone else's fault. It's not the market's fault. It's not the customer's fault. It's not your employee's fault. And it's not your sub's fault. The reason you're here and not here is because you're lacking the skills to get from here to here. And I had to go out and, like, one at a time, learn this skill in the business. Okay, so how do I sell more jobs? How do I sell them for more profit, right? How do I hire better people? How do I manage better subcontractors, right? Each little skill, how do I market, advertise? As I learned those skills, building the business acumen, that finally got me anyway. So that's the reality. Trial and error, 100%, and it's all about. I get it, like, and I believe me, I am the type of person that I would much rather just put on some headphones or have a radio playing, and I'd much rather be cutting some wood, nailing, building a wall, putting in some trim. Like, that is a beautiful day for me. It's very peaceful, it's relaxing, I enjoy it, but there that is not gonna allow me to grow a business, right? That skill set. You have to get outside and start getting personality skills and learning how conflict resolution, negotiations. Yeah. No, no, just hopefully something in my content can say to you and speak to you. Yeah. Thank you, Jay. All the things that I've learned, they've just other people have I've learned it from other people. I've watched, you know what it comes down to a lot of times? When I was starting in business, I've always been fascinated by people that make things look easy. When I was growing up, we this was before baseball players got paid what they got paid today. So believe it or not, like, I grew up in a row home, and in my neighborhood there was a major league baseball pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles who lived in my neighborhood, and I used to be out in the back. We had a field at the school, and I used to play baseball, and he would be out there with his son playing baseball. And this guy was a major league baseball player, and he was good, but he didn't make all that kind of money back then. But I was fascinated because I would watch the drills that he would have his son do, and I was like, "Well, if I wanna be a professional baseball player, I should learn to do those drills." And I share that because if your aspiration is to run a professional business, you should be looking at what do professional business owners, what skills do they have? I need to get those skills, and then you could be a professional business owner. It's they call it modeling, you know? See monkey, do monkey. Thanks, Justin. I appreciate the likes for sure. And same, Jan. But who would have known? I'll give you an example. Back in the 80s, I want to say that professional baseball player, he was on the all-star team at one point. He made like $50,000 a year back in the 80s. Today, he would be earning like 5, 15, 25 million. It's just, who knew that baseball salaries were going to go up like they have? Hmm. I don't know if any of you guys are sports fans or not, but man, just crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, but that's what's crazy about life. Back in the my brother-in-law was a relief pitcher. Okay, very cool, awesome. Yeah, I mean, anyway, like, back in the 80s, I think $50,000 was a very nice salary, you know. But at the same time, uh, the row home neighborhood that I grew up in was nothing fancy. I mean, it was just house next to house. We had an alley, small 3-bedroom house. I'm very thankful I always had a roof over my head, but anyway, when you say to someone, "Well, I used to be able to go out in the backyard essentially and play baseball alongside of a professional baseball player and his son," you would think I grew up in like a really rich neighborhood, but they didn't earn that kind of money back then. Mm. Yeah, so if your brother-in-law, I'm assuming that was recently, they make great the amount of money that they get paid is, it's a whole other level. Gotcha, yep. So, well, Mr. Goat, like, if your brother-in-law is in your local neighborhood, he might be able to help you, get in with a few. Okay, yeah, the elbow yep, very common, Tommy John. Yeah, that's unfortunate, that sucks. Mm, but yeah. I mean, there's a gentleman in my area that I'm not really friends with him at all, but he's the kitchen guy that all the celebrities go to. If you're a sportscaster for the local news and you're very popular, if you're a politician, if you're like Cal Ripken hired him, and all the Orioles, the Ravens players, they all hire him because he comes in and he custom designs your kitchen, and he builds all the cabinetry. Like for Cal Ripken, all Cal Ripken's cabinetry was set at heights that are appropriate for someone Cal Ripken's height. So, it's all 100% custom work, but that's his niche, right? That's only thing that guy does is he caters to high-end celebrity people, and he just redoes custom kitchens for them. I don't know how he got into the business, but he did, and it's a neat market for him for sure. Justin, I don't I'm not good friends with, any celebrities like that, so that wasn't a niche that I was in. Alright, very cool. So, yeah, I mean, that might be your niche to get into, if you can, hand out put some door hangers somehow, see what you can do about getting some notoriety within the high-rise community, um, and I have a buddy who, when he first started, he landed a job with a property management company for doing apartment turnovers, right? He comes in, remodels all the apartments, puts in all the new baths, the kitchens, um, and it only took him getting in with like one complex, then through consolidations and property managers moving to other complexes, he has a huge business now. That's just about all he does is apartment turnovers. He's got a couple crews. Like, you just never know what's gonna happen for you, where you'll find, like, your niche, your thing. Yeah. So, like, if you like doing this work, like, and you get efficient. So high rises, you have to account for a lot of travel time in an elevator, right? There's parking the vehicle, and then the time it's gonna take to get the resources, like your tools, the materials, somehow from the garage up into the condo unit. Hopefully you're cognizant of all that and aware of it. But that's definitely a challenge. You'll probably want to get like yourself a couple carts so you can help roll things and move them around. It's a whole different world if you're working in a high rise setup, as opposed to, pulling up to the average homeowner's house, parking in the driveway, popping up in the garage, walking in, doing the job. Yeah, exactly. Because the amount, like, It half of your day sometimes can be spent just mobilizing, getting the crap from the parking area up to the unit that you're redoing, where you're doing the work. So, yeah. Yeah, make sure you have yeah, if you're working in a high rise, make sure you have good general liability coverage, especially if you're touching any plumbing or electric, and something affects, multiple other units. But but anyhow, no, that's awesome. Go. You'll have to tell us how that works out. Tell us what you're doing there. Okay. Yeah. Very cool. Uh, that's awesome. Co- And share, if you don't mind sharing, how did you come across this project? Was this someone that got referred to you? Did you do some marketing? Awesome. All right. So she found you on Google. Fantastic. Great. I'm excited for you. That's awesome. Go. So this will, man, this is really good. Yeah. Hopefully you can, you might have missed where maybe, I was talking a little bit about making sure you share the journey, the client journey with your social media. This might be a really good job for you to like have a couple posts that shows you guys in action, like getting materials, riding up in the service elevator, mobilizing, setting up in the high rise unit. Um, Try to get the homeowner to join you in a post at some point mid construction, where they're not stressed out and they're excited because they see progress. Sharing that little bit of the journey, if you're open to it, I think you'd be shocked. Yeah, 5 minutes an hour, exactly. Um, and go. You may be familiar with like Gary Vaynerchuk. He talks a lot about how you document your journey, and you should show people. Your customers like to see you doing the work, and they like to see the homeowner happy. And anyway, I could give you a whole synopsis of it. You can rewatch this live in the first few minutes, but I noticed you're starting to put some stuff on Facebook. I don't know where else you might be putting it, but a couple of those capturing a few of those moments. Yeah, exactly. Because what's going to happen is most likely a couple things should happen from this. Hopefully, your vehicle will have at least a magnet. If it's not lettered, you'll get a magnet so that people in and out of the building, the garage, whatever, they see that there's a vehicle doing work. And then hopefully there's some way that you can maybe get a door hanger or a flyer. I don't know. You might have to talk to the property management or the HOA. Um, Maybe you can put something up in the mezzanine area. I don't know. Maybe they'll send something out monthly. I, I would try to work with the whoever owns the association as a way to get your message out, and then hopefully your customer that you're working for somehow will share all those things together. Because what'll happen is the clients, future clients, they'll look you up online. And then if they go online and then they happen to see that you have a couple posts of you working in their building, they're gonna be like, "Oh, the guy already worked this. Yeah, that's the guy. He works here. He did the work for Miss Louise down at Unit 17B. I should go talk to her and see if she's happy." Yeah. So anyway, all that kind of, because you have to understand, think about how a lot of customers go about determining who to hire. Some of them might reach out to the whoever's in charge of this building to say, "Hey, who are the approved? Do we have approved vendors? Uh, have any of the tenants had really good success with a local company? Hence, you guys." So yeah, and a lot of these people they have monthly meetings or quarterly meetings. Um, and if you can get, I don't know how personable your client is, but if they are a very personable type, or if they're the type of personality that like other people like to listen to them and they have some authority, all this, you'll have to judge all that, but see if there's a way to help leverage a little bit of it where they could help get the word out for you. Get them into your referral rewards program, where you offer them a nice little experience for helping you get a few other jobs. Yes. Yeah, so good excellent point. In your general you might have to call your insurance provider and you'll name as an additional insured the building, the association, the property management company. Yeah, exactly. I would look into all these options. Look, here's the thing. You're going to be in this person's house for at least 10 days, I'm assuming, to do a bathroom. You're probably going to have a conversation or two here and there. Instead of just talking about the weather and the bathroom, it I would be asking some questions about like, so do you guys have like monthly meetings? Do you do this? Do you do that? Yeah. Hey, do you ever throw parties? Are you real social type? Like, find out what the person loves to do. You could be the bartender for their party, you know? Sponsor, you bring the refreshments and you work it and they invite like 20 of their neighbors over and they all celebrate, you know? I, there's a lot of options that you just think about it. Think outside the box any way you can. People like to be around people they like. So, like, if you and the homeowner have a good bond, a good personality, uh, try to take advantage of it. You'll have to show us pictures too when you get in there. So that's awesome. And old Jay Allen's going to let us know how this project that he's got going on, where he's saving the homeowner who didn't pull permits. Once his 48-hour moratorium is up and he can go back to work for the family. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Tomorrow morning, that's awesome. And, yeah, and Justin, thank you for the, gift for all the, uh, yeah, I appreciate that. Alright, you'll have to Jan, we'll be excited to hear how that process works out. How many days work is that for you? Repairing this, plumbing fiasco? Take care, Goat. Thanks for, hopping in. Okay. Well, very cool. Sounds like it'll be much simpler fix than I was envisioning, so good. Awesome. Mm, yeah. Well, and then you're gonna have to, I guess there'll be a reinspection. You'll have to line that up. Hopefully, you won't have to go back. Maybe you can have the homeowner be there for that one. I don't know. What's your plan? Will you be on site when you do your reinspection, or will you just have the homeowner take care of that? Okay. Okay, so then I guess you'll be on site so that as soon as the, inspector gives you the go ahead, you can do the backfill. Okay. Yep. Well, good. Then the good thing about you being on site, if for some reason the inspector this has been my experience. Let's just say for some reason you didn't realize or they have some weird thing that they want done. If you're there, sometimes the inspector will say, "Listen, You just do that, take a photo of it, and you email it to me at the end of the day, and then I'll approve it, and I won't have to come back, and you can just keep on moving. So yeah, there's always some weird, like, you just never know. Generally, if you're pretty close, they'll let you work with it. I think, what's funny, like one time we fire blocking, we missed two penetrations. For whatever reason, they just got overlooked, right? Like two penetrations didn't get spray foamed for the fire blocking. And the inspector, technically, he could have failed the inspection. He's like, listen, you you'll take care of that in a few minutes. I was like, 100%. So he's like, just take the photo, send it to me. And that way you can go ahead and, start doing your sheetrock and all that. So he didn't have to do that. He could have totally failed it. And because in that one jurisdiction, if you fail, you have to reschedule, and then you have to pay to have them come back out because you failed the inspection. Okay. Yeah, so oh, alright, good for you. Alright. Sounds like the homeowner's getting a very good deal. Yeah. Yeah, it's all gonna work out. So, very cool. Nothing like getting hopefully you'll pass your first rough in. Yeah. Well, we don't wanna go over. Mm. Sure. No, absolutely. You're correct, because it's completely out of your control, and it's exactly the way to do it. Yeah, letting the homeowner know, hey, every inspector has their own personality, their own opinions, and everything is open. I've learned over the years, and I explained to homeowners. I used to carry a code book for a while with me, the building codes, 24 standards, whatever, and I would show them. I'd say, listen, I want you to understand something about this book. Is just like the law, everything is open to interpretation. So myself, you, my crew, the inspector, another inspector, everyone's going to interpret what the letter of the intent of the code is. So sometimes we will do something that's worked in other places but won't work here. Oh, good. All right. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, like even those, what's funny? You're gonna be like, I'm gonna stop listening to Mike. Um, even something like sharing, like taking, a bringing up that, and that could be like really good content for you when you're ready for social media. Yeah, like, hey, this is really what we're here to do, but while we're here, we noticed that this and this are not proper and could be much better. So we're gonna go ahead and make some changes along those route lines as well. So all good things. All right. Well, I'll be excited to hear how it goes. You'll have to share the success you have. Yeah, that's. I'm sure that's why you're getting so many calls, and have, yeah, that's awesome, Joe. Congratulations, great job. That is why you are killing it and doing well. So, all right. Well, unless anybody has any other comments, questions, I think that'll be it for tonight. That was day 79. Tomorrow is day 80. Yeah. Let's see. This will be a good one. We'll talk about handling complaints, homeowner complaints. I can and I can share that in the beginning I got more of them than I expected. I was so shocked. I was like, why are these homeowners all complaining? Yeah, don't even. I mean, in the beginning, I really thought that homeowners would be so happy with the work, the quality of the work, the fact that we showed up every day. Man, there were so many little things that I I had no idea that that really mattered to people. Uh, so anyhow, yeah. Well, be very excited. So congratulations again. We'll hear you share with us what how that job's gonna plan out tomorrow. Hopefully you when's your inspection scheduled for? Would it be tomorrow too, or do you have to wait till tomorrow's Wednesday? You have to wait till or today's Wednesday for me. Do you have to wait till Thursday? Thursday. Okay. Very cool. All right. Well, tomorrow, be safe. Have a good day. Get all the prep work ready to go, and have that place looking perfect for that inspector. They'll be like, "This is the best plumbing work we've ever seen in this side of town." Mm. All right, Jam. Yeah, no, you do great. I'm sure it's going to be great. So thanks again for being here. Appreciate all the comments as always, and have an awesome night. And we'll catch up with you uh, on the next one. All right, we'll be back for day 80 in just a few hours. See ya. Thank you.